welcome back to Gray Magnolias. I wanted to I wanted to make a quick video because I did finish a series and I just wanted to give a quick review. And a couple videos back, I've mentioned that I've been wanting to go back and read certain things that were really big in the early 2000s that I just wasn't reading at the time because of, that was just I think the only major thing that I read that was for my age group at the time was Twilight. Off the top of my head, that's all I can remember. I read other things, um, but for like that went huge and was just like everywhere, I can only say it was Twilight. So I'm kind of slowly just if I've come across it or people like, oh, this is what like led me to loving X, Y, and Z, and this is what I read as a kid and stuff like that. So I have in my last video, I shared me finishing book 3 in the Raven Cycle series by I know the first name of the author is Maggie. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I'm not even gonna bother. But I finished the Raven Cycle series, um, all 5 books, even the like little novella. It was like an hour long audiobook afterwards called Opal. And yeah, I just wanted to give like a quick review. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, because that's just I don't do my reviews like that necessarily. So yeah, I'm making coffee. My beautiful coworker, which I put short about one of them, me, I didn't film myself taste testing it, but she really lovingly gave me some Colombian coffees to taste test. Hold on, I'm kind of heating up milk right now for a cup of coffee. I'm going into work at 10, just a 10 to 2 shift. Okay, that's way too much milk, but I'll make it work. So then the other one that she gave me is just called Café Buen Dia. And this is the packaging, like a glare from the sun. It's just a medium roast. So it says like aroma fruity, cuerpo. It's like, so the body's like balance, flavoring of notes of citrus, because it does have like on the back in Spanish, it does kind of like give a description of it, and the end is saying limoncillo, which is like limoncello or like lemony. I preferred this one over this one because this one had like notes of caramel. It was really good. They're both amazing. Like, I mean, hello. But for like mouth, I'm not like a super coffee connoisseur, but for like mouth feel and like aftertaste, I really preferred this one because this one was just a little bit too caramel aftertone for like it, plus when you like add sugar, it just kind of like really it just made it a little bit too much. Okay, I just wanted to because I'm using a mic and I know it might sound a little bit weird, but I'm trying not to make too much noise um if I wear it. So I'm just preparing a little to go. I got this as a birthday gift about 2 years ago from my mother-in-law. She sent me like a little book box thing. It says there is no such thing as too many books, which is what I live by. Every time, like at work, we're like, oh, that's too many books. I'm just gonna do one at a time. I'm like, you can get as many as you want. It's great. Um, okay, so quick review because I just remembered I actually have to pass by the post office before I go into work, and traffic here it is like hell. It's awful, awful, honestly. So, overall, the whole series, I give it a 3.5. hear me out. And like a rating of a 3, honestly, like is pretty solid. I know there's like always been that discussion of like, authors reaching out to reviewers and they're like, oh no, like please take down your review, da 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 da. I feel like 3 is like pretty good, not too bad. Um, Individually for a book, each book was like a 4 or 4.5 because of just like the emotion. Like I really enjoyed how Maggie wrote. The characters were really strong. It wasn't annoying. It was very not it was very, I want to say lyrical, but at the same time it wasn't lyrical, of just like how the characters talked and their feelings. They were all, because there's a lot of point of views from, we have Blue, who's our main female character, we have Gansey, we have Ronan, we have Adam, and then we have Noah. So it's a group of, they're all juniors to start at the beginning of the series, and at the end they graduate high school. So, and like they live in this small town in Virginia, I think. Virginia. Um, and yeah, like it was just, one of the boys go to this preppy school, and then Blue is, she is the daughter of a psychic who lives in a house full of psychics, who has a hotline for, psychics, and like what she does for them is amplify everyone's power, right? Um, and there is this super strong way line, which is um, an area where paranormal activity is quite strong. um, so this is a paranormal, I would say thriller almost, YA, paranormal romance YA thriller. And so it's just kind of following the journey of this group of people trying to find this buried king that will grant a wish. Um, to sum it up, because it does get a little like, it was like a little convoluted at times, and just at the beginning I didn't give it up in the sense of like it wasn't good. I was just like, I'm not really understanding what the big deal is with this king, because like our main male character Gansey is like obsessed. He pretty much had like a second life coming, like he died, came back, he heard this voice, and like that was like his obsession, to find this king that was buried and was like protected and supposedly can grant something. So um so each book there's like, they're meeting each other, they're kind of, you know um I think this is not really spoilers. Like there's a holiday, the book starts off on St. Mark's Eve, where they, the people of Blue's house, they go to the cemetery, and if they see any spirits come by, they're going to be dead within a year. And Blue is technically, as for what we know at the beginning, she has no power. And but she sees, like she can only hear it. She, like the person who's like, she's amplifying their power, she's like, okay, John Smith, Jane Smith, da 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 da. But then Blue actually sees an apparition, and she's like, okay, holy crap. So she goes up to them, blah blah blah, and she finds out his name is Gansey. And then later they meet, and then it's just like, that's like a whole like overarching thing. Again, it's not spoiler or anything like that, but it is important. Okay, so yeah, the whole scene, Gansey, the spirit of him, and then another overarching thing is that, like you go in to a psychic and get a prediction, and things change and people's future changes, right? But one thing that was always consistent every time someone told Blue her future was that her kiss would kill her true love. Either she would do it instantly by kissing, or by kissing that it would, danger would fall into them. So anyway, like throughout the whole series is their journey in finding this buried king that will grant them a wish, and so forth. The characters are really good. Um, all very different, all doing like struggling with things. Like one of them has like abusive parents. One of them, his like pretty much they're orphans. He's an orphan, and just everyone like slowly develops powers. It's like really intense. I was again, I was like kind of in that I don't know if this is for me. It's really written really well. Like for writing, 10 out of 10, beautifully done. Um, but then I was just like, it's like, I don't really, I don't know. I like paranormal, but not ghost paranormal romance. But I remember I was untangling like yarn throw up in bed, like the boys were sleeping, and I was listening to it. I got chills. I got goosebumps. It was so scary. It was like, oh my God, like the anticipation build up. One thing for sure that Maggie did with this whole series, I could not even imagine reading it as it was coming out because the endings were insane. It ended so crazy each book, and you're just like, oh my God, the revelations. It's just kind of like this build up as things are progressing. Like, evil people are coming, things are being discovered, new powers, like all this stuff. So intense, so crazy. For that, 10 out of 10, like every book I was, even like if you saw my last video reacting to finishing book 3, I was like, oh my God, what? But the reason that I give the whole series overall like a 3.5, the ending felt a little abrupt. Um, like it was such a build up, such an anticipation to like what they had to do in the end because of certain things. Again, I'm not trying to spoil it. I was just kind of like, oh, that's it. Okay. And there was an epilogue, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, right. And then I was like, you know what? There's like this little, I guess you could say, fifth book. It's like maybe not even 100 pages. It was just like an hour, 45 minutes audiobook. I borrowed it real quick. I finished it before I went into work. And it follows someone else's point of view that gets introduced towards the end of the series. I'm not going to spoil that. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll get like a little more, you know. Still not, I don't know, like I don't know what I wanted, but I just felt like that's one thing for sure that I'll, like nowadays you read a book and it's just like so much fluff. It's like, okay, get to the point. She like these books were maybe 400 pages a piece. Really, like kind of time jumped, like in the things that happened in between were not explained a lot, which didn't leave you having questions per se, but I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we're over here now. Got it. Okay. I'm going. Um, so yeah, like it was really good. I totally get the hype around it when people are like, oh, the Raven Boys is like my Magnus Opus or whatever you want to call it. Like, I get it. I get it. It was really good. I'm really happy I read it. But just at the end, I was just like, oh man, I need something else. Um, Not her most recent book that I don't think is YA that came out because it's on our regular fiction shelf. It's not on the YA shelf unless they categorized it wrong. But she did back the last book came out in 2023, 2024 or so. She did come out with a trilogy continuing on with Rowan, it was one of the characters, and kind of because like something happened, and it was like, he's trying to fix it. So it wasn't like this, like the story of Blue and Gansey and other things was kind of like over, and like they're still trying to fix some things. um so there is that, and I think I would like to explore it, um to see if like, okay, what's happening now. It was written much later than when like the first series was written, so um, and it has really good reviews, so I'm gonna check it out. I am actually reading one of her first series before the Raven cycle, is called Shiver, and it has to do with werewolves and stuff. And so far, I'm really liking it. I'm halfway through. Um, I really wanted to read this first because when I think I'm gonna do a video on my like thought and research process when picking books to read. Um, and disclaimer: my main way is by the cover. That's where my interest peaks at first, and then I just like research without spoiling it for myself. Because sometimes I feel like summaries on the back of books, or if you start reading reviews, then it can makes an impression, and like you could have loved that book, but based on the reviews, you're like, oh no, that wouldn't like that. So maybe I'll do a video about that. But when I discover a new author, so to speak, I try to go like from where if I can get my hands on it, especially where they started, like the first works, and then I get to what I really wanted to read. I try to do that to the best of my ability, because as a writer, their style changes, they get better and better the more they write. So just kind of, so I have, I wouldn't want to read their best thing, right? Of all their works, and then I go to the beginning and I'm like, oh my god, this is complete crap, like what the heck. um so yeah, I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Even though I gave it like a 3.5-star review, I do really recommend it. It was fun. It was like, I felt chills. The audio, if you listen it to audiobook, he does such a good job with like adding the creepiness, and he's not like robotic. He's like puts all this emotion into all the things that are happening. There's like possession and stuff like that, and there's this one lady that comes into the picture later, and she's like nuts. She's nuts, and he did such a good job portraying that you were just like, holy, like I had goosebumps like half the time. Again, in standing alone, each book like 4.5. The whole series as a whole 3.5, just because like after all of that, I just felt like the ending felt not even, it didn't even feel rushed. It was just like, okay, after all of that, just a quick that, and then that, and then that, like, it was just, again, that's just me. But I do recommend it, and I'm gonna end the video here because I gotta shovel breakfast down my throat and go out and post office and all that fun stuff. So let me know if you've read the Raven Cycle series. Was that your like magnum opus of like, oh my god, this is like everything, and everything you've read is based off of those feelings you had when you read this series? Have you reread it in your adulthood, and what do you think? Because I think it held up really well. Again, the characters aren't annoying even though they're young. I couldn't say I could relate to every single one of them. I've never, for all their situations, I haven't been in their shoes, but you really got put in the shoes of each character when it was their point of view with what they were going through and their struggles, and just kind of like them overcoming it in a way. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I hope you read something amazing and make something beautiful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.